That's cool, man. I want to talk also about translating moves to the game because trainers love talking about translating stuff to the game. We love we love the stuff that translates to the game. What comes to mind with that, and what do you think about when it comes to like that process of teaching what translates to the game?
I used to be that guy, to be very honest with you. I used to say, mm, why are you doing that? That is not beneficial towards you performing in a game. To where I just started to read more books. I started to actually go and watch my students play. And then I'm criticizing myself by saying, yo, you're teaching them stuff, Jalon, that they're not even using. They don't even need it. Right. You go watch a kid, and this is a tip for all of y'all. I'm Some of you guys probably do this already. It's cool. Go to your kids' games, go to your clients' games, go to your students' games. Take a piece of paper, take a notepad, timestamp every single possession that they're in the game, offensively and defensively. See where they're getting the ball, where they're missing opportunities, things that they're doing on a regular basis. And I guarantee you fill those gaps of doubling down on your strengths, but really, really attacking your weaknesses. Those things will work in translating anything to the game. So for me, it's more so about being able to make those split second decisions at any given time. If you are accomplishing that in any way, shape, or form, then kudos to you. I'm not I'm not really in the space of criticizing what can be and what's not anymore. If it works, then God bless you, brother. Then that's totally fine. I'm not going to really debate with people about what does and what doesn't work. But if you have that ability to get the kids to, hey, I'm reacting, I'm reading, I'm making decisions, and it works, then that's all that I can really care about, man.
I love that you pointed out and mentioned that's probably the main thing to know what translates to the game. You have to know what's happening in the game. Like one of my kind of like field testers for like footwork coordination, timing, every like for me everything. You know what it is, but when I say it, you'll know the two dribble pull up. Sometimes just one dribble, but really the two dribbles because then I get to see you how you pick up your feet, how one foot follows the next, right? We're going back into flow now. The timing of the 1-2 dribble to see if you have on the right hand, if you come off that left right, and off the left hand, if you come off that right left, even talented players that'll come in for their first time, talented high school player, whatever, I'll be like, yo, we just warming up, getting to the two dribble pull up. I see something. I'm like, now what in the world did I speak Japanese? Because I don't know what you did. The feet are all off and they land on 2 feet. I'm like, dog, did you? What's going on here?
I had a session this past Saturday, and we literally just simplified even that, just like cut the fat instead of working on 10 things in that hour and a half, whatever the duration is. Cut the fat and just put them in scenarios to where, hey, like, bro, you don't have the ball in your hands at every given moment, every single possession, right? Some people do because you're that guy. But if you're smart, if you're an opponent and you're a competitor, the name of the game is to take everything away that they want to do, right? So all I literally did, man, was just do DHOs with this kid, 1-2 pull, right, left pull, pump fake pull. And it was one of the coolest, like most satisfying sessions I've ever had. And the dad's just like, hey, I'm super impressed. And this is just the first one. But like that pull up, bro, oh my goodness. Like that's all that we did. And he really struggled. But then you see eventually like he's starting to get into it. I'm like, all right, this is really, really cool.
The pull up jumper, repping it as much as I like to, keeps them in such a rhythm with their feet and with their shot, then look, then I can even say I can speed it up. I can play some live. I can play 50% defense. I can say, yo, okay, now let's make it game pull up, right? Game pull. Where we're not just doing empty ghost, no defense, like just casual pull. No, now let's like let's make it game now. Feel somebody there. Feel what it's like to hit a contested pull up, right? So that pull, you can go everywhere just with that pull up, right? You got to be realistic about, a lot of the fundamental things are never going away, right? Jump stops, jump hooks, pull up jump shots, right? Using your offhand. I mean, certain things like if you get a few more jump stops in the game, you might score 4 or 6 more points just off the fact that you're getting a good 2 dribbles into and getting a strong jump stop and able to see what happens from there. It might be a floater or a bucket. It might be something else, but just, I'm repping the little things over and over, kind of how you had alluded to earlier. I mean, that in itself will translate because you're going to be in better rhythm, more comfortable, more confident, right?
I totally agree. Shooting to me is very interesting. And just because, like, honestly, for me, man, at the end of the day, if there's one thing that I could teach to kids, it would just be ball handling, just because that's like the part of the game that I fell in love with the most. Like, that's how I got to take on the court. Like, older dudes were running, playing full, and I would hope that a fight broke out, somebody got mad and left, or like, yo, we need a fifth. I'm like, yo, let's go. And I know I'm a draw just because I'm like, yo, y'all are not going to forget the fact that, like, I can handle the ball and I can pass. So that's just what got me on the court and just instilled confidence in me. But shooting's very, very interesting to me because honestly, I didn't really learn how to shoot until later on in high school. And even then, the way that I was shooting the ball was just super inefficient, right? Until, I got with my man, Mike Dunn. He was my teammate in high school, one of the best shooters I've ever seen in my life in person. And then he just hits me one day and was like, bro, I was wrong all this time. And I'm like, how? Like, I could pass you the ball half court, and I'm going back on defense because I know it's good. And he's like, nah, man, like I was wrong all this time. And when he starts teaching me about ball before body and setting your level and energy transfer, and I'm just like, I can't believe we didn't know this information at this time, way back then. To be able to dissect things like that and just really show them, hey, there's an easier way to do this and you can be consistent. Um, I love that just as much as I love ball handling. And that's the coolest thing about it. The game, specifically those two aspects of it, anybody can improve if you're really willing to put in the work, yeah, for sure.